Hola, it's your girl Empress Ami Simone here to give you a quick little message. So I woke up today at 2:22 and decided to stay up because obviously that was auspicious. So I decided to get my day started at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And so when I was like, at some point realized I wanted to get a reading in as well. Okay. So then I started to prepare myself to do a reading, and that takes a little while. So then once I ended up coming into the room to actually, turn on the camera and start recording, it was 333. So I was like, oh, another auspicious time. So let me stop what I'm doing and go pray. All right. So then I went in prayer. And then when I came out of prayer, I opened my Bible randomly and I said, I want my reading to actually start with a verse. And I opened the verse and then I realized, oh, no, no, no. This is a way different message. This is a message. Ended up being a way bigger message. It's broken out in three parts. It's a three-part message. And so I'm pretty much kind of explaining the biblical part of it in every single three-part. But I wanted to kind of break down, give it a wide overview of what I'm basically talking about within that. Okay, so Isaiah 36:6 was the actual verse, but I will speak about 4 through 6, but highlighting the majority of 6. Okay, so let's go and read it first so you could have a reference to what I'm speaking of. Okay, so, and Rabshakeh said unto them, say ye now to Hezekiah, thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence is this wherein thou trustest? I say, saith thou, but there are but vain words. I have counsel and strength for war. Now on whom dost thou trust? Thou rebellest against me. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. I'm going to read that for the NIV version just because I feel like the rest of the world will want to know, will want to hear that in that way. So I will do that as well. 36. But my book, I have the King James version, so that's the one I go by. Okay, so let me paraphrase it again. All right, the field command. So this is the New International Version. So for everybody, the field commander said to them, tell Hezekiah, this is what the great king, the king of Syria, says. On what are you basing this confidence of yours? That's 4. You say you have counsel and might for war, but you speak only empty words. On whom are you depending that you rebel against me? Look, I know you are depending on Egypt, that splintered reed of a staff, which pierces the hand of anyone who leans on it. Such is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all who depend on him. See, that does give a different energy or intensity to it, okay? So like I said, going through chapter 36 through 4 through 6, this is where the scripture meets history, prophecy, and spiritual truth. They all collide in this. This is why I broke it up in 3 different parts as well, okay? So here's what's happening. I already referenced it, so I just kind of want to explain to it as well. The mighty Assyrian Empire has swept through the region, taking down kingdoms left and right. Now they're standing at the gates of Judah, threatening God's people. Instead of immediately attacking, the Assyrian king sends his field commander, called the Rabshakeh, that's the field commander, right, to deliver a speech meant to terrify and break the will of Judah, God's people, right? All right, so he asks, what confidence is this that you trust in? You say you have strength and strategy, right? We talked about strategy in part 2, okay? We talked about schedule and strategy in part 2. But it's the just empty words. So you say you have strength and strategy, but those are empty words. Who do you trust that you would resist me? Egypt? Leaning on Egypt is like leaning on a broken reed. Part 1. That's like leaning on a broken reed. Put your weight on it and it will snap and pierce your hand. That is what trusting Pharaoh is like. Okay, so you're leaning all of your energy towards something that's not gonna be supportive or foundation or strong enough to hold you once you place all of your weight over there, all of your trust over there, all of your vulnerability over there. Okay, so it's giving you the strategy. Think before you act, right? Think before you act, and think before you choose which direction that you're going, because you may not be able to come back from it here. Hence the pierced hand, hence the injury, based on the trust that you gave blindly, right? Okay. So pause with me on verse 6. Let's go to verse 6. Like I said, I would emphasize that broken reed image is so powerful. It represents false security that we talk about in part 1. Something that looks stable at first glance, but the more that you lean on it, the more dangerous it actually becomes. So instead of support, it ends up being a wound, hence the pierced hand. Judah's leaders were tempted to form an alliance with Egypt, right? That's the hand also. That's the agreement made with the hand. You shake on the agreement. Someone wanted to get in the agreement. Judah's leaders formed an alliance, shook hands with Egypt. Egypt seemed strong enough to stand against Assyria. That's what they needed. They were trying to strategize, right? So you merge with what seems to be strong enough to fight what you're trying to fight, right? But what the devil ended up doing was tempting them, putting them over there. And here's the injury coming out, right? It wounds you instead of support, instead of it being support, instead of it being the strength that you saw it once as. It ends up being more dangerous because it's hurtful, and it ends up becoming an injury, a wound, something that you will have to heal from, recover from, right? I forgot. I was trying to go back to my notes and see where I started, where I came back from. Judah's leaders were tempted to form an alliance with Egypt, right? Egypt seemed strong enough to stand against Syria. But Isaiah had warned them over and over, don't put your trust there. Don't rely on appearances. What I just said, what seemed to be strong. Don't put your future in the hands of something unstable. Think before you act, right? So here's the irony here. The enemy's messenger was actually telling the truth about Egypt. So the devil will tell the truth. Remember that. That's the irony of this. The enemy's messenger was actually telling the truth about Egypt. But the problem was he wasn't pointing Judah towards trusting in God. He was trying to lead them into despair, to make them give up before the battle even began. So that's the devil's temptation. The devil will tell the truth about the story. But the whole point, the intention behind giving you truth is to demoralize you. How does truth demoralize you? Only when it's coming from the devil, because that's the intention. And to bring despair. That's almost like somebody, you know how somebody gives you compliments, but it comes with like, I see that little project you completed. Little, it's little. You know what I mean? It's more about, you did complete an actual project, but why did you have to make it demoralizing? You know, and then of course that makes you go into your head it's a trigger to try to bring you despair and to demoralize you. But it's actual truth too. You did complete a project. See what I'm saying here? The devil will tempt you with the truth, but only to lead you into despair. So almost it's a trick. It's a temptation to make them give up before the battle even began. This is the same tactic that we face today, which is why I bring this all in. Today, the voice of fear, the voice of doubt, the voice of discouragement often sounds logical. It often sounds like the truth, right? It tells us that the thing that you are leaning on won't hold you. And sometimes it is right. But the goal of that voice isn't to redirect us towards God, towards the divine. It's to strip away our hope, to convince us that no foundation exists at all, to talk us into surrendering, to giving up, right? So take a moment at that. That thing you're leaning on won't hold you. He was speaking truth on that broken reed. But it wasn't to steer you to God so that you can only lean on God and trust on God alone. It was to confuse you, bringing back the devil of confusion. It was to distort the truth so that you can be triggered and just give up, to surrender and be like, oh, well, never mind. Instead of facing it, instead of overcoming it, instead of standing in unwavering tenacity, stand. If at all, stand. Think about your own life here. What are the Egypts that you are leaning on? What are the broken reeds that you are leaning on that you may not even see them as broken, right? Because of course, you at once consider what seemed to be strong, right? Take a look and evaluate all things that you trust in. All people that you trust in, foundation, structures, all of that you trust in. The things that looked strong but turned out fragile. Maybe it was a relationship you thought would complete you. Maybe a job that promised security but left you drained. Maybe it's habits, distractions, or even old beliefs, South Node energy, that looked like strength but only cut deeper when you leaned too hard. So leaning on what seemed foundational, what seemed strong, ended up not being once you put your weight on it. Sounds like a plastic chair. Isaiah 36 reminds us, do not give your trust to broken reeds. Do not give your trust to Egypt, the Pharaoh of Egypt. Don't let your confidence rest in what can pierce instead of protect. Don't let your confidence rest in what seems strong at appearance wise, but you have no idea. You know what I mean? Place your weight on what is unshakable, what is foundational, what is unwavering and tenacious. The Spirit, the source, the living God, the true and living God, the Lord of the harvest, the true rock, the true breastplate of righteousness, the true sovereign God, all divine, the Most High Creator, Elohim, Adonai. You know, it got many names. And here's with the good news. And remember the good news we also mentioned in part 1, too, right? When we put our trust there, the strategy of the enemy fails. Let's say that again. And we talked about strategy and good news. So that's amazing that's coming out like that. Here's the good news. When we put our trust there, the strategy of the enemy, of the devil, of anything adverse to you and your mission fails. Because his goal is to always make us give up without a fight, to surrender before the battle even began, honey. They wanted you to don't even wake up. Don't even get up out the bed. Don't even start your day. Give up before you even start. Wow. Give up before you even start. But if we remember where our true support comes from, then even in the face of threats, in the face of intimidation or fear, we can stand. So today, ask yourself, where am I leaning? Is it leaning on something that can break? Am I leaning on something that is what seemed as strong, but I have no idea that it's going to break once I put my weight over there? Or do I place my strength? I lean on the one who cannot fail. Which one? Where am I leaning? Which direction am I going? Don't surrender. Do not give up. Do not give in. Lean on the rock. That rock I stand. Oh, Lord. Oh, my granddad church coming out, honey. This rock I stand, honey. On stable land. No higher plane than I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Plant my feet on higher ground. Plant my feet on higher ground. Don't give in. Don't give up. Lean on the rock that never crumbles. You are God alone. Elohim Adonai. Jehovah Rapha. Jehovah Nisi. Jehovah Shalom. Oh, Lord. Thank you. So I say all of that before I start shouting. This is the message that I wanted to put into all three parts, okay? But I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that it prompts you to think about different things that you normally don't think about, or to discuss different topics, or reflect on different questions that you normally don't think about, okay? That was the mission of this today, and I hope that I have provided that for you. So go back to Isaiah 36:6. Spend it throughout your day. Stay chosen. Remember, don't surrender, don't give up, don't give in, and lean on that mighty rock, honey. Lean on that rock. Until next time. Peace out.